Bob Chapman's our guest. I'm going to open the phones up specifically for questions for Bob Chapman. 1-800-259-9231. 1-800-259-9231. Bob, you got cut off by that break. I mean, when we got up here 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago, last month, and read the mainstream articles where the government comes out and says, oh, we'll take your private pension plans and the government will keep them and tax them but pay them out to you. And, oh, your money markets aren't protected, 3% or something, returns people get. I mean, I've got a bank account that's a money market. That's not protected. I mean, that's destroying confidence. And then their health care plan is a massive tax increase on basically everybody except some of the poorest Americans. And then it's a tax on them because more companies will just lay people off to be able to pay for the health care. And so they're failing on that plan because it's so unconstitutional and transparently corrupt. That's what I'm saying. The carbon taxes, they're in trouble. The health care money grab, they're in trouble. So what are they going to do, Bob?
That's hard to say. I don't know. I just don't see anything on the horizon. But, we'll hear it leaking out of Washington. They have these think tanks going, and they've been going for years. And incidentally, that program of guaranteed annuities by the United States government, that's been in formation since 1995. This is really nothing new. It's just getting here now, or they pulled it up when they thought they needed it desperately, if you may. And if they impose a 5% tax for savings, then that probably will help them quite a bit. But I don't think the public's going to like it much.
Well, when I tell listeners that the government is creating a police state electronic straitjacket over the states, we're not just saying that. We have the John Warner Defense Authorization Act, reauthorized since 2007. We have PDD 51. We have the Council of Governors, which is so the president can claim he's in control of the states, and, well, the Council of Governors agrees, his 10 hand-picked minions. You could have 49 states telling one state they had to do something unconstitutional. It doesn't stand. You have Northcom admittedly set up for the American people. You have them trying to put military on the streets everywhere. You have them with the naked body scanners. They're clearly trying to get this grid in place to suppress peaceful revolution against them, but they're not giving people anywhere to go. They're not giving people any out. I mean, this is going to be very explosive. This is not Argentina where they're disarmed, or Nigeria where they're disarmed, or Romania or something. I mean, this is a recipe for disaster, and the establishment is so hubris-filled they're still moving forward, or maybe they're not hubris-filled. Maybe that's why Cass Sunstein and other White House czars write that, quote, the conspiracy theorists are a danger and are hurting them, Bob Chapman.
Well, that's right, and I think you hit it on the head, and I'm doing a piece right now that I'll finish over the weekend for Wednesday's issue, and it's control of the Internet, and, of course, if they go for that through the UN or whatever way they do that, then what will happen is they'll pursue us on radio as well. And they got to shut us up. And so there's going to be moves in that direction. But you know something? I think they're a little bit too late. I think they waited too long, or they get rushed into the situation by yourself and others.
Well, the train's already left the station. Exactly. We've already told the people, the DVDs, the books, the newsletters are out there, and the more they try to censor us, the more people want to find out what's going on.
That's right. It's just like when you try to hide something, there's a reason for it. You probably did something wrong. And the Federal Reserve is a wonderful example. It's a state secret, or you don't have a need to know, and it's a private corporation. I mean, that's ridiculous. And so why is the Federal Reserve doing that? Why are they battling so hard to keep 1207, which is in that appropriations bill, from getting passed? Because they don't want everybody to know what they're doing. Well, the same is true not only with the Fed, but right throughout government and Wall Street. I mean, you saw the hearings, this this Lloyd Blankfein gets up and says, well, we're doing God's work, and we made a few mistakes. Yeah, as they collected hundreds of billions of dollars from the American investor or the American citizen, and they justify that, well, if you don't let us do it, we'll crash the system. Now, that's really what they're saying. And I work with these people for 28 years. I know where they're coming from.
And this is terrorism. This is illegal financial terrorism that they have been engaging in, and they have wrecked hundreds of third world countries and first world nations in the last 100 years. They will make us destitute and homeless if they are able to successfully pull this off. This is life and death for our economy, our society, our future progeny. This is for all the marbles. And that's why I get so disgusted by adults who are losing their jobs or getting their pay cut, wealthy, poor people, it doesn't matter. They don't still, many of them seem to care. They only care about who's going to win the Super Bowl this Sunday.
That's exactly right. And they ruined many, many personal lives all over the world, particularly with these collateralized debt obligations, which are the bonds which have the mortgages inside of them. 60% of them were sold in Europe. So it's not only American institutions that bought them and lost piles of money, but it was Europeans as well and others. But, this, to me, as a professional within that area, is grotesque. I mean, how could they ever think that they could get away with this? What they did is they got the raters, which is Moody's and Fitch and S&P, to say that this was AAA paper, the best you can buy, when in fact it was a triple B. And in collusion with not only the raters, but also the Federal Reserve and the lenders themselves. And there was a whole group of people who were involved in this giant multi-trillion dollar scam. You're absolutely right, Alex.
And now it's come out in McClatchy newspapers and other places, documents they got from Goldman, that they premeditatedly rigged all this to destroy their competition and destroy the economy and come out on top with their insider knowledge. And now they're trying to bring us into the next phase. I want to go to calls here, Bob, but what is going to happen from your past experience and research as people find out the economy is actually getting worse and not better?
Well, they're going to get more disturbed. There'll be more layoffs. There'll be more people going bankrupt. It'll be harder to live the way that we've lived over the past, we'll say 50 years, is gone, probably gone forever. It's hard to say forever, but probably gone forever. And they are going to demonstrate, and eventually the demonstrations will, if they can't accomplish what they want through Congress, then there will probably be a revolution.
Let's go to phone calls, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk to John in Illinois. You're on the air with Bob Chapman.
Hello. I just want to say I appreciate your show, Mr. Jones. And a question I have for Mr. Chapman is, how do you feel that George Soros' statement about gold being in a bubble affected the market currently? And also, with all the manipulations that the banks do you think they can control the price of gold for much longer?
Now, let me add this before Bob answers. Last Friday here, I played the clip for Bob of Soros on Wednesday of last, bragging that they were about to try to pop the gold bubble. So was Soros involved? What are the central banks doing? We know it's been exposed. They do manipulate gold. Why are they trying to drive gold down right now?
Well, first of all, George Soros is an arch criminal. He's a multi-billionaire. He's a top illuminist. He was convicted of rigging the stock market in France. He appealed and lost. And he was convicted in Hungary as well in recent years. He's a front man for the illuminists. Whatever they want done, he does it. In Eastern Europe, they have these colored revolutions. He was behind the whole thing. And, of course, when these guys die, all the money goes back to the illuminists. That's the way it works.
And by the way, you're not just saying that. I want you to continue your point. It came out in the British news and Russian news that every time Putin arrests an oligarch, it turns out they own literally nothing and everything is Lord Rothschild's.
That's right. And Rothschild bankrolled the whole thing. And
so what are they doing to gold?
Pardon me?
Well, I mean, I interrupted you from the question, the caller's question.
So
what's going on with the rigging?